your, I'm sure, very swamped schedule, have you managed to walk around even without people trying to jump onto you and have a conversation?
Thankfully, most people just know me by my anime profile picture. So.
Okay,
there you go.
Not
There you
fully
go.
diced yet.
Hide behind the NFT.
Well, that might all be about to change because after your breakpoint, for I think close to 7,000 tickets were sold. A lot of people know about you guys, of course. The rise of prediction markets has been all that everyone's talking about. You guys raised, I think, an $11 billion valuation. Congratulations. That is massive, massive news. What's the sort of overall feeling, sentiment? Do you feel like the job's done and now we're going to scale, or is there a lot that you're still iterating on in the back end? Where are you mentally?
Yeah, well, Kalshi Crypto only started a few months ago, and so we're definitely like basically day zero here. The tokenization layer that is on Solana just really got released like a week ago, and we had a very exciting announcement with Phantom yesterday. So now we have the Phantom, Jupiter, Axiom, which is basically the largest trading platforms on Solana integrating, which is awesome. And now it's about like scaling those integrations, but also from a product standpoint, I think the tokenization layers with DeepFlow or Jupiter could do a lot of work still. It really is like a V0 where they're like it works, but now we want to make the product even better. And down the line, I think these tokens could be really valuable in permissionless DeFi as well. So you could use this for collateralization, for lending, for perps, and use the price oracles of Kalshi data as well to power other applications.
That's super exciting. I think people are used to prediction markets being something that dominates the headlines around major geopolitical events. I think back to the election of Donald Trump, the second election, and there was this sort of a peak in attention, of course, and then afterwards, a lot of the detractors, the critics were saying, hey, look, prediction markets, they're only really going to have any reasonable volume around major geopolitical events like US elections, maybe the World Cup, sporting events, so on and so forth. That thesis got proven to be absolutely incorrect. And it turns out prediction markets are actually a really good way of predicting the future around any event that's going to happen, as long as people want to speculate, people want to think about what's going to happen. They have a strong opinion either way. So how have you seen that evolution of prediction markets as far as the utility of them goes?
Yeah, I think there really is like this economic value or utility that comes out of prediction markets. Similar to with the stock market, it's about allocating capital. With prediction markets, it's kind of about releasing truth into this world and getting like this canonical data point that otherwise would be unquantifiable.
Yeah.
And so I think with prediction markets and the categories that dominate prediction markets, it does change over time. And I think it ebbs and flows with just what people are generally interested about, where attention is. The last year, it was definitely the presidential election, like the entire Twitter feed was dominated with that. And then since that's died down, like we've been getting into sports season, and like sports in prediction markets for the first time is seeing this incredible growth. And we've done a lot of like activations around sports, but now we're actually seeing like a really big pickup, obviously in crypto with our big crypto push, but also culture and culture markets. So with culture markets, that's kind of more like cultural themes, such as who's going to go to like Taylor Swift's wedding, or like who's going to be the Times Person of the Year.
Yeah.
And those get like millions of views for us every day. Honestly, outpacing like every other type of category. And so I think the landscape changes always. And the really great thing about prediction markets is you really can just financialize any sort of topic or any event and the underlying. And so that gives it a lot of diversity.
And I think as long as attention has a cyclical nature, that's going to continue to be the case, right? So people are going to move their attention from one area to the other. You'll probably see that happening. I would imagine around the upcoming World Cup, which is going to be held in Canada, the US, Mexico, we'll probably expect to see a massive uptick in activity and attention around that.
Yeah, I think next year, the Super Bowl in February, the midterms for the political US elections, and then obviously there are tons of other elections around the world, and the World Cup, as you said. But this year, 2025, in the 4-year presidential cycle is actually usually the most quiet year. You have the presidential election in 2024, 2025 is like kind of a dead year for politics. Next year's midterms, year after that is the year leading up to the election, and then it's the election itself. So I think we're going to see a huge upswing in politics next year as well.
Yeah, I think so too. And I live in the U.S., so anytime I turn on the news, I'm seeing some sort of prediction market data that's on there, right? Like it is becoming like the source of truth for where you want to know anything that's coming up. I had a question about the tokenization of these. Like what does that look like? Like I don't understand it fully. Like, do you want to just like explain it to me, explain it to our viewers? Like, we're Solana native, we can tokenize it, we can use it in DeFi. What does that mean?
Right. Firstly, on the news point, I think that's very true. It's like kind of mind blowing for us as well.
Yeah.
But we are now like the exclusive prediction market partner for CNN and CNBC.
That's so
which
cool.
Is really
humongous news, and massive congratulations, by the way. It couldn't be more of a household name when it comes to news media, so massive news, congratulations.
Thank you. I think embedding it kind of in our daily lives and our information feeds will be really valuable. And the tokenization aspect, I think it primarily is like a way to make trading predictions accessible on chain and to crypto native users. A familiar experience that they have. And so now you can just trade out of your Phantom wallet natively or on Jupiter, and a lot of other integrations also coming. And so that is the primary one. In fact, like there are some cool like new things that you can do on chain that you wouldn't be able to do off chain. For example, you can swap any token. Like you can be holding Bitcoin, Sol, Fiatcoin on Solana and swap that into a, I don't know, like Mamdani share or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's crazy. That is actually crazy.
Yeah.
So is it going to be like a leverage thing as well, like where you could like hedge out of your position a little bit, or you could go like 10x long on it? Like how do you see that going? Like degens are going to degen, right? Like if there's a market for it, they're going to go for it.
If you give them the option to leverage, they probably will take the leverage.
That's what I'm seeing in my mind. I don't know what you see.
Yeah, well, we are actually the first prediction market in the world to offer like real parlays. Or combos, I think, and those are kind of an implicit way to get leverage. So that's pretty cool. And as I said, like the tokenization layer sort of initiatives are just starting, so maybe that will be available later.
Cool.
And I think prediction market perps are also another interesting area that we're trying to explore, which is, you could slap an Oracle feed from a Kalshi price data stream, and then kind of do a prediction, a perp on top of that. But it is a bit hard to control, like solvency and stuff, so you have to make sure the parameters are correct.
Yeah.
That's huge news. I think for onboarding as well, like if we zoom out of our very crypto and Solana native bubble for a second, simply by virtue of you guys being now partnered with CNN, the huge amount of attention that's going into Kalshi and prediction markets, and then informing these people that they can swap their views into extremely, in their minds, niche assets like Fiatcoin, using blockchain as underlying technology. I think that's mind-blowing as far as adoption without forcing it goes. People are just going to be
future of finance.
Well, there you go. You can slap so many slogans onto it, but I think it's a fascinating development, and I can't wait to see let's say older people that are maybe previously not so involved in crypto, and they're going to say, oh my goodness, I can actually swap this into something called Fiatcoin or some of the less politely named tokens out there. That's fascinating.
Yes, 100%. I think it speaks to how much you can do with crypto, and that's actually one of the main unlocks for us is, we have these big traditional brokers, which are like Robinhood, PricePicks. We have a big crypto exchange also coming soon.
Which one?
You'll see. I think it's been leaked, but
okay.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
One of the largest. But those you can only get with a compliant, regulated, centralized exchange model, which is what Kalshi pioneered. And that is where all the liquidity is going to aggregate going forward for prediction markets. If you look at the major players of the landscape, everyone is building and allocating resources to this regulated centralized exchange model now.
Yeah.
No one is really allocating resources to building some sort of offshore on-chain exchange anymore for crypto markets. And so really, like, for crypto users, for crypto apps, you want to be able to tap into that liquidity. And we kind of see this as tokenization model as the end game, at least for this model. And so I think the gap between the regulated and the unregulated prediction markets in terms of liquidity and competitiveness will keep on widening. And Kalshi is the only prediction market in the world that doesn't fragment the liquidity between on-chain, off-chain, US, and international. So I think that is the ultimate moat, and we will keep compounding.
That's also huge. And I want to ask to what extent the fact that you have first mover advantage and you built that regulatory moat, in particular in markets like the US, and you're not fragmenting liquidity, to what extent are you going to focus on maintaining that moat and widening the gap between the regulated and the unregulated competitors that you have?
Yeah, I think this tokenization layer will enable like a whole new ecosystem of developers to build on top, to build like grassroots initiatives. So not only do we get big distribution partners like Phantom, but we also get like smaller ecosystem developers that are maybe people who are like very, very passionate about a specific field. So for example, we have a couple weather experts building weather trading terminals on Kalshi weather markets.
No way.
Entire new primitives are going to be emerging. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
And they're just like super, super nerdy about weather. They are like meteorological geeks. They have the lowest latency for data and the most localized feeds. And they have like really sophisticated charting, stuff that you would never be able to get from the Kalshi sort of like generalized app itself.
I can't wait to see so many prediction markets on all these niche events, especially if there are experts out there. And one thing I enjoy more than just trading meme coins is finding an expert's wallet and saying, you know, I might just copy trade that guy because he's done something and I kind of understand it. So being able to go to, you know, view a meteorology expert's wallet and saying, oh, this guy thinks it's going to rain in New York in 5 minutes, like that's really entertaining. And the social element that comes with that as well is super, super entertaining. I want to end on a super bullish note because unfortunately we can't keep you here all day. We'd love to keep you in this live stream, but I appreciate you're a very busy man these days. You have a side event later on. That's just, I think, towards the end of Breakpoint Day 3. It's in partnership with huge names like Phantom. Are you going to be making any announcements there, or is it more just sort of cement these partnerships? What can we look forward to? We are hoping to be there, by the way, Solana Floor. We are hoping to wrap up this live stream just in time at the end of Day 3 to be there with you ourselves. The rest of our team, I think, will be there. But what's going on there?
Yeah, I would love to have you guys there. I think we already did the announcement yesterday, so it's kind of just cementing and explaining the ins and outs of the DFlow, Phantom, Solana Foundation, kind of the whole like Kalshi push onto Solana. I think you could get some product demos from Phantom as well.
Exciting.
Which is really cool. They have
really looking forward
live
to that.
chat. They have like it looks like their UI. You know, it looks native to them, and it's right on their homepage. So I'm very excited about kind of the adoption of that.
So are we, because we've been in this glass booth talking to all the experts and the builders and the founders and trying to understand what it is that they're looking forward to with a longer horizon, but as a result, we've missed the majority of what's happening directly behind us on the main stage here at Breakpoint, which is, 2 to 5 minute long fireside chats. Final question for you before we let you go. What are you most bullish on when you think about Solana in the next 12 months? By the time we get to London next year for Breakpoint, which I think is going to be mid-November, what is the single most exciting development that we're going to have spoken about all year? What will it be?
Yeah, I think it really is like a combination of the fact that like the Solana core dev community, I think, has become much more sophisticated. The DEX infrastructure has become much more sophisticated. With proper AMMs and order routing. Tokenization is having a huge push on Solana with real world assets, including prediction markets and stocks. And I think the whole like coalescing of that will enable like Kalshi builders to really succeed. And so I think a year from now, we're going to see not only like a thriving ecosystem of like prediction market front ends on Solana, but a lot of users and power users using all those different things. And so I think like all these different themes really do coalesce around the prediction market opportunity, specifically the tokenization one, where it's real-time, fast, instant settlement. And so that's really exciting. And I think all those specific fields as well we'll see and look a year from now and be really proud.
I honestly cannot wait to be in London at Breakpoint 2026 and look back on it and think, okay, to what extent was this a year of prediction markets? I think to a large extent.
Is that home for you? Or?
I was born there. I haven't lived in London for many, many years now. I spent 15 years or so living in the Netherlands, lived in all the different places. I live in Lisbon now. But
nice.
yeah, it is sort of a homecoming, if you will. And I know the Super Team UK guys are very excited to be there as well. So cannot wait to catch up with you there. Final note, leave us with some alpha, leave us with sneak peek of what might be to come. What are you cooking? What are you working on behind the scenes? What might we get from you guys in the next 6 months?
I think we are going to, well, I've been repeating this every single month. I've been at Kalshi since I joined a few months ago. But Kalshi crypto was kind of like non-existent just 4 months ago, and now we've got some of the largest big like distribution partners in crypto. I want Kalshi to be in every crypto app by 6 months from now. I
think it will be. I mean, everybody that we've been talking to, we've been asking like, what are you most bullish on? And they're saying prediction markets. Like it's on the top of everyone's mind, and it's growing. So you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
I wish we could continue talking to you. Thank you so much for making time to talk to us here at SolanaFloor TV. Really appreciate it. We will hopefully see you walking around later on.
Yeah.
And if not, at the event.
Predictify everything.
Predictify everything. If you don't have tickets and you are in town, then do register. Predictify everything is the name of the event. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with Dan Albert.